You're in a conversation with some technologically active people, and they start talking to you about SSD, DNS, MFA, and you've nodded like you understand. Meanwhile, inside your head, yes, absolutely, no idea, dude. Let's fix that. Let me start with HDD, hard disk drive. It's basically an old record player inside your laptop. There's an actual disk spinning and a little arm that moves across it to find your files. If you're as old as me or happen to go to a museum of IT stuff, you could see what an old laptop sounded like. It grinds a lot. That wasn't character, that was physics. Now, I say was, but actually they're still in production today because they are still one of the most reliable sources of storage for large server farms. Now, an SSD, well, it's obviously also a drive or disk, but there's no spinning, no moving parts. In case you're wondering, it stands for solid state drive. It's like one of these little boys, a USB stick, but it went to the gym and never skipped leg day. If your computer feels slow, swapping an existing HDD for an SSD is the closest thing to legal performance-enhancing drugs for your probably aging PC. It's the single best upgrade you can make. Full stop. Let me share a story about a thief. It could be a friend or not. It could be a colleague or not. It could even be one of your kids or not. Whoever it is, let's imagine this thief gets your house key, also known as laptop password. He comes to your door, also known as login screen. The key fits, also known as the password works. He starts smiling and pushes the door, but he can't get in. Why? Well, it doesn't open because now the system says, cool, where's your phone? That second step, that's MFA, multi-factor authentication. In this story, the multi is your phone. So simply put, it's the difference between locking your front door and locking it, plus having a security gate and a very suspicious dog. The lesson here is turn MFA on, everywhere for everything. Okay, so moving on to SSO. This could be an easy one, as you've probably heard it being called by its full name, single sign-on. It's that sign in with Google button we all happily click because we're tired of inventing new passwords like summer, big S, holiday with big H, 2026 underscore actually with big A, this one will work, W, all capital. Whew, that was difficult to say out loud. Perfect solution, one key, many doors. Convenient? Absolutely. But if someone steals that one key, they've got access to the whole building. Your emails, your data, your private life. So, tech tip. If you use SSO, and most of us do, make sure MFA is on for that account. Otherwise, you've built a mansion with one lock, and that should bring shivers down your spine. DNS sounds technical. Even though it stands for Domain Name System, and that alone may sound scary, it isn't difficult to get. I think you'd understand when I put it in this way. It's the GPS for the whole internet. Yep, everything you do on a smartphone, laptop, smart TV, even in your modern car running Android Auto. For example, when you type google.com in your computer's internet browser, well, it doesn't understand words. English, no good. French, pas aujourd'hui. Japanese, what it does understand are numbers. The single job that DNS needs to do, and it does it well, by the way, is to translate the words or names or website address into the number behind it. Without DNS, you'd type in a website and your computer would just stare at you blankly, like asking for directions from a lizard in the middle of the Karoo Desert. So remember, Every time a website loads, DNS is the real hero doing its job quietly in the background. No applause, just results. IoT. IoT. O-I-O-T. This means Internet of Things. Huh? What things? Well, it's when your fridge, your light bulb, your doorbell, your thermostat all suddenly decide they need Wi-Fi. Sometimes it's brilliant. So, for example, I'm feeling a little warm, so let me adjust my heating from my phone. Yep. Or let me ask my digital assistant, like Alexa, to turn down the temperature for the next 3 hours. That's cool. Get it? Cool. So, every smart device has a tiny computer somewhere inside. And tiny computers need updates and passwords and attention. On the other hand, convenience is great. Just remember that you may be accidentally turning your house into a small data center. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator, which sounds important. Maybe even a term NASA or the ESA uses. Actually, it's just the web address. Yep, that thing you type on the top of your Chrome or Edge or Safari browser. But here's the useful part. The URL tells you where you actually are. So keep a careful lookout, because if someone sends you a link and it says Amazon with a 0.com, that's not Amazon with an O. Learn to glance at URLs. They're like number plates that tell you if the vehicle website you're visiting is truly legitimate. Here's a nice one. GUI. GUI. Like slime, icky, sticky stuff. Okay, maybe not, but it is pronounced that way. GUI. And what is it? Well, it's just a fancy way of saying buttons. It stands for Graphical User Interface. And it includes things like icons, windows, things you click on the screen, laptop screen or desktop screen or mobile phone screen or TV screen or car screen or fridge screen. Oh yes, soon. Without a GUI, you'd be typing green text into a black screen like a 1980s hacker movie. Try doing that to change the radio station while driving. Actually, professionals still use that method to do things in command lines. What did you think I was going to say? Typing or driving? Huh? A GUI is what makes tech usable for normal humans who just want to print something without feeling like they're launching a satellite. Nice idea for my next little tinker project. Launch satellite with printer on board. So now, when someone says SSD, DNS, MFA, SSO, GUI, IoT, or URL, you don't have to nod politely and hope they change the subject. You can join the conversation. If this was useful, I can decode about 400 more acronyms, because apparently the tech industry decided real words were too mainstream. Thanks for watching.